A very good evening to you and welcome to the News at 9 live from the News First Centre in Colombo on MTV Sports. I'm Nadim Majid.
And I'm Arundhati Mudanayaka. First a look at the stories making headlines this evening.
Headlines on News First at 9.
Minister Mahinda Samarasinghe says that they expect Navanithan Pillai to submit an impartial report. United Bhikkhu Front writes a letter to the chief prelates stating that injustice is reigning over justice in the country. Ravi Karunanayake ranked first among active parliamentarians by Mantri.lk. Kumar Sangakkara to represent the Kandurata Maroons at the Champions League.
News First at 9.
And now the stories in detail. Minister Mahinda Samarasinghe says that he believes that UN High Commissioner for Human Rights Navanithan Pillai will submit an impartial report on Sri Lanka.
That's right, the minister expressed these views while addressing the media following a meeting with the UN Human Rights Chief.
The UN High Commissioner for Human Rights Navanithan Pillai met Minister Mahinda Samarasinghe at the Ministry of Plantation Industries today. Minister Mahinda Samarasinghe said he had brought the UN Human Rights Chief up to speed on Sri Lanka's progress in implementing agreements reached through the Human Rights Action Plan and the UN Human Rights Council Universal Periodic Review. He said that steps will be taken to submit periodic reports on Sri Lanka's progress to the UN Human Rights Council prior to the next Universal Periodic Review.
Well, I took the opportunity of showing the High Commissioner and her team the progress that has been made in implementing the National Human Rights Action Plan, and we also discussed the Universal Periodic Review. This is the second cycle that Sri Lanka has gone through, and in this latest cycle we have undertaken a number of recommendations. We have accepted a number of recommendations to implement. We have also accepted a number of, we have put forward a number of voluntary pledges that we are committed to implementing. Well, I mean, I am candid enough to say that there are challenges ahead of us. I mean, no country can be expected to overcome surmountable challenges that we were facing at the end of a 30-year conflict. And at that, facing one of the worst forms of terrorism that the world has seen.
Meanwhile, the UN Human Rights Chief also met with members of the Sri Lankan Human Rights Commission today.
We discussed the programs of the Sri Lanka Human Rights Commission. She was satisfied with the work that we have carried out. She wished to work cooperatively in the future as well. She also had good responses with regard to us. She added that she would extend her support to work carried out in the future. She inquired into what is being talked about at the Sri Lanka Human Rights Commission.
Now, the UN Human Rights Chief Navi Pillai also met with Minister of External Affairs Professor G.L. Peiris earlier today. This meeting took place at the Ministry of External Affairs.
Now, during the meeting, Professor Peiris has noted that the UN Human Rights Chief that it is important to have objective approach and extend equal treatment to all countries when fulfilling the assigned mandate.
Issuing a communique, the Ministry of External Affairs says that the minister had said that there is a perception in the country about the lack of objectivity and fairness in the treatment meted out to Sri Lanka. According to the communique issued by the Ministry of External Affairs, the minister and the UN Human Rights Chief discussed a wide range of issues, including allegations of disappearances, the reconciliation process, the participation of the Tamil National Alliance in the Parliament Select Committee process, demilitarization and land issues. With regard to implementing the recommendations of the Lessons Learnt and Reconciliation Commission, Professor Peiris had pointed out to the UN Human Rights Chief that in July this year, the Cabinet of Ministers approved the inclusion of an additional 53 LLRC recommendations in the National Plan of Action. The minister had also referred to the High Commissioner's concern over the inclusion of the police under the newly created Ministry of Law and Order instead of the Ministry of Justice. The minister had said that Pillai's stated position is fundamentally unacceptable and does not move in accordance with the established procedures of Sri Lanka, adding that the creation of the new Ministry of Law and Order, under which the police department is now placed, is in line with the LLRC recommendation. Regarding comments made by the High Commissioner on the Prevention of Terrorism Act, the minister said that some of the countries that level criticisms have provisions in their domestic legislation far beyond those of the Sri Lankan PTA. Professor Piris had noted that given the situation that prevailed in the country for 3 decades, the revised PTA in Sri Lanka is only used as a precautionary measure and is not abused. Addressing UN Human Rights Commissioner Navi Pillai's concerns over the recent incident in Ratupasula, the minister had said that investigations are underway and that those who are found to have transgressed the law will be brought to book. The minister had also conveyed his appreciation to High Commissioner Pillai for accepting the invitation and visiting Sri Lanka. He said that the government of Sri Lanka will continue to work with the Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights. The communique notes that the High Commissioner too had expressed her appreciation for the opportunity given to her to visit Sri Lanka and the facilitation provided by the government. Now on the election platform, human rights and the visit of the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights Navi Pillai to Sri Lanka remains a key topic. Let's take a look at some of the views that were expressed yesterday.
සියලුම විෂයන් සියලුම ශේෂ්ත්‍රයන් ආවරණය වන ආකාරයේ සංවර්ධනය. ඉතිහාසයේ පළමු වතාව.
This is the first occasion in our country's history where development which encompasses all sectors and subjects is underway. Unfortunately, the opposition cannot see this. These days, they are quite busy creating and submitting reports on human rights. They cannot create reports which meet the needs of the people in the villages. They do not speak of the issues faced in the education sector. They do not speak about the issues faced by school children. They have no need to go to the villages, meet with the people and inquire into their shortcomings. However, they know how to create international reports and write letters calling for the creation of international commissions.
ජාත්‍යන්තර කොමිසම් පත් කරන්න ඒ අය ගිවිසුම් ගහගන්න. උතුරේ නැගෙනහිරේ තරම් නෙවෙයි මේ රටේ කිසිම කෙනෙක්ට කිසිම දැනක
No one had the right to live anywhere in the country, not just in the north or east. The right to live is one of the main human rights that Pillai is looking into. The people of this country did not have it before.
තියෙන ලොකුම ආයුධය තමයි ජීවත් වීමේ ආයුධය. ඒක මේ රටේ ජනතාවට දියුනේ නැහැ. අයිනවුඩ මනුදේවුර පේරේවුඩ තලයිවි.
The UN Human Rights Commissioner for Human Rights came to your area. What are the people who objected to her coming to this area saying? They are now welcoming her. However, they sent their representatives along with her. They took this step because they believed that the people of this area should not voice their concerns. Officials of the government were sent to areas which the High Commissioner was due to tour beforehand and impose restrictions on the people. However, our people disregarded all these restrictions and showed her their plight.
අද මානව හිමිකම් කොමිසමේ කොමසාරිස්තුමිය ඇවිල්ලා මේ රටෙන් යනවා.
Today, the Human Rights Commissioner is in the country. However, the activities that are being carried out against the country are continuing. They continue to grow. As a solution to this, we should rally around the SLF-led alliance and provide a resounding victory.
පිළිතුරක් හැටියට අපි ශ්‍රී ලංකා නිදහස් පක්ෂය ප්‍රමුඛ මේ සන්ධානයේ වට සියලු දෙනා එකතු වෙලා විශිෂ්ට ජයග්‍රහණයකට කටයුතු කරමු.
Now, speaking at a media briefing convened by the National Freedom Front today, Minister Vimal Weerawansa said that UN Human Rights Chief Navanithan Pillai should not have been invited to visit Sri Lanka.
The invitation to visit Sri Lanka was extended to Navanithan Pillai by the government. The people who invited her cite the fact that we have nothing to hide as the reason for extending the invitation. They say that she will have an opportunity to come here, see for herself and arrive at a fair conclusion. As the government, when you look at it, the opportunity has been granted with all sincerity. But today, the question has arisen very clearly as to whether she is sincerely using the opportunity that was granted with sincerity. Now, you are all aware that yesterday in Trincomalee, she participated at a meeting outside of her schedule without any security or accepted Sri Lankan government official present. She participated in that secretive discussion. She participated at a meeting of a non-government organization in Trincomalee, an organization maintained by a preacher who is also a lawyer. Why did she go there and participate in a secretive discussion? Then there was some from the opposition. This is being carried out by both of them, and there are some contractors within the government itself. Therefore, it should have been understood that she was not coming here with sincerity and the invitation should not have been extended. That is what I have to say. The fact that extending an invitation was wrong will be realized when the report is unveiled.
ඒකයි මං කියන්නේ. ආරාධනා කිරීමෙන් වැරදුණු බව වඩා හොඳින් පැහැදිලි වෙන්නේ වාර්තාවේ එළිදැක්ුණා.
We have arrived at a decision. We have nothing to hide. She can travel anywhere she wants in Sri Lanka and see what she wants to see. We have not shackled her, asking her not to meet any particular person. The only request that we have is that the report that is submitted must be an impartial report. If there is a mistake mentioned somewhere in that report, then we are prepared to take the opportunity and make clarifications regarding it.
Time now for the newspaper cartoon of the day.
Now, before moving on to more local news, News First extends its congratulations to MP Ravi Karunanika, who has been ranked first among active parliamentarians.
Now, the MP was ranked first in the rankings published by the website mantri.lk.
The intention of the website mantri.lk is to examine the activity of the 225 public representatives in Parliament. MPs were graded on 42 factors including external affairs, economic development, human rights and reform. The grading was carried out after studying the activities and views of the public representatives. Information and data for the grading carried out by the website mantri.lk was obtained from Hansard reports in Parliament. The grading considers the support that is rendered by public representatives through expressing their views in the chamber in order to build a good country. Another intention of this grading is to laud public representatives who are sensitive to the people and raise their voice in Parliament over issues surrounding the economy, politics, law and the media. According to the rankings published by mantri.lk, MP Buddhika Pathirana ranks second. Minister Dinesh Gunawardena, Dasiri Jayasekara and MP Anurukumara Dissanayaka have been ranked third, fourth and fifth respectively. Notably, Opposition leader Ranil Wickramasinghe has been ranked 42nd.